Today, we're uncovering 12 of Boston's most haunting legends, chilling tales from the city's past that refuse to fade away. Number 1. The Lady in Black of Fort Warren. On the tiny George's Island in Boston Harbor stands Fort Warren, a granite fortress used during the Civil War. Among its shadowy halls and dark stone corridors, one ghost stands out, the Lady in Black. Legend says she was the wife of a Confederate prisoner held at the fort. Disguised as a man, she sailed north, determined to free her husband. But the rescue attempt failed, and both were captured. He was executed, and she was sentenced to death as a spy. Before her hanging, she asked to wear a woman's dress. The guards found only a black gown from a local actress. She wore it to her death, and since then, countless reports describe a figure in flowing black wandering the grounds. Soldiers stationed there later claimed to hear her crying in the old prison cells, or see her standing along the walls at dusk. Even tourists and staff in modern times report flickering lights, cold drafts, and the feeling of being watched. What makes her legend chilling is how often different people, decades apart, describe the same sorrowful figure in black, walking near the abandoned cells or calling out into the sea. Some even claim her footsteps echo in the empty corridors, especially near the old gallows site. Her story isn't just ghostly, it's tragic. Fort Warren is no longer active, but visitors still walk its grounds and wonder if the Lady in Black is watching. Her love, her loss, and her punishment seem frozen in time, replaying again and again on that lonely island. Number 2. The ghost of the USS Constitution. For more than 200 years, the USS Constitution has stood as a symbol of American strength and history. Docked at the Charlestown Navy Yard, this warship earned the nickname Old Ironsides for her victories in battle. But long after her cannons went silent, whispers of ghostly footsteps and unexplained noises began to surface. Sailors and visitors alike have reported feeling a heavy presence, especially near the captain's quarters. Some say the spirit of a young Marine who died during an onboard accident still paces the deck, unwilling to abandon his post. Others believe it's the soul of a British prisoner who never made it off the ship. Lights flicker in empty rooms, tools go missing and reappear in odd places, and eerie voices echo down the narrow passageways, especially during stormy nights. Tour guides have even paused their speeches mid-sentence, startled by sudden chills or faint whispers near their ears. Though maintained as a museum today, many who visit report a strange blend of pride and unease. It's not just a monument. It's a place that feels very much alive. Those who spend time aboard say they always feel watched, as if the ship remembers everyone who served on it and won't let them go. Even in the 21st century, the USS Constitution doesn't rest. Her spirit seems tied to the sea, to the battles she fought, and to the people who gave their lives within her walls. In Boston's harbor, among the sounds of modern life, the past still lingers in her silent, haunted hull. Number 3. The Boston Tickler. In the 1800s, a wave of unease swept through Boston's North End when reports surfaced of a strange figure breaking into homes, not to steal, but to tickle the feet of sleeping victims. Nicknamed the Boston Tickler, This shadowy intruder reportedly slipped into bedrooms under cover of night, targeting the feet of unsuspecting men, women, and even children. Some called him a prankster. Others were convinced he was something darker. Panic grew as stories spread of residents waking up to a breeze on their toes and glimpsing a figure vanishing into the night. Police launched investigations, but no suspect was ever caught. Newspapers at the time mocked the idea, but the fear was real. Some said the tickler wore a cloak. Others swore he had pale skin and never made a sound. As sightings continued, some families left town, too disturbed to stay. Historians debate whether the tickler was ever a real person, a group of mischief makers, or just mass hysteria. Still, stories of the tickler have survived for over a century, becoming a bizarre chapter in Boston's haunted past. Some even say the prankster spirit remains, shifting shadows in narrow alleys, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. Though the legend faded with time, it left behind an eerie question. Was the tickler ever caught? Or is he still roaming the cobblestone streets, slipping through the cracks of Boston's oldest homes? Number 4. The Haunting of the Omni Parker House. The Omni Parker House is one of Boston's oldest and most elegant hotels, but beneath the chandeliers and polished wood lies a darker tale. Since it opened in 1855, the building has welcomed presidents, poets, and even the ghost of its founder. Guests and staff alike have reported eerie events that make this hotel a place of mystery, not just luxury. One of the most famous ghostly figures said to haunt the halls is Harvey Parker himself. Known for his dedication to perfection, Parker passed away in the hotel during the late 1800s. Since then, visitors have described seeing a gentleman in old-fashioned clothes quietly observing them before disappearing into thin air. These sightings often happen in the upper floors or near the guest rooms. Perhaps the most unsettling part of the hotel is room 303. Years ago, a traveling businessman reportedly died there under unusual circumstances. Guests who stayed in that room claimed to hear sudden laughter, the sound of drawers opening and slamming, and cold drafts that appeared out of nowhere. The activity became so strange that the room was eventually closed off for many years. Even in the grand dining rooms and shadowed stairwells, the hotel seems alive with stories. Elevators are known to move without being called, and lights flicker during quiet hours. While the Omni Parker House remains a symbol of Boston's past and present, its haunted reputation adds a layer of intrigue that continues to draw curious travelers from around the world. Number 5. The Shadowy Hounds of the Hanging Tree. Long ago, in what is now Boston Common, a large elm stood tall, once known as the Hanging Tree. During the colonial era, it was the site of many public executions. Locals spoke in hushed tones of dark hounds that began appearing after hangings, their glowing eyes watching from the shadows just beyond the light. It was said that the dogs arrived each time a soul was taken, their presence chilling even the bravest soldier standing guard. As Boston grew, the tree was eventually cut down, but the hounds never left. For centuries, people walking alone at night through Boston Common have heard the soft padding of unseen paws behind them, only to turn around and find nothing. Others have reported seeing shapes move in the darkness, too big for any normal dog, with eyes that glow red like embers. Legends claim the Hounds are cursed guardians of the wrongly executed, restless until justice is done. Some say they were once real dogs, loyal to prisoners, buried nearby, and pulled into the curse when their masters died. Others believe they are shadows of evil, drawn to the sight of so much death and sorrow. Today, many visitors to Boston Common dismiss the tales as old stories. But those who walk the paths late at night, especially near where the elm once stood, sometimes feel watched, and every now and then someone claims to hear low growls carried on the wind, reminders that something dark may still be guarding Boston's oldest secrets. Number 6. The Boston Strangler. Between 1962 and 1964, Boston was gripped by fear. 13 women, ranging in age from 19 to 85, were found murdered in their homes, strangled with their own stockings or other items. The killer became known as the Boston Strangler, a name that sent chills through the city. The terror was so great that people began locking their doors, something that hadn't always been common in those days. Albert DeSalvo eventually confessed to the crimes, though doubts remain about whether he was truly responsible for all the murders. The confusion and mystery around the case left a dark stain on Boston's history. Even today, the full truth has never been settled, and many believe more than one person may have been involved. Some even say justice was never really served. As the decades passed, stories began to emerge. Whispers of strange sounds in the buildings where the victims once lived. Tenants have reported cold drafts with no source, the scent of unfamiliar perfume in empty rooms, and lights flickering at the same time each night. A few have even claimed to hear soft footsteps, followed by a sudden tightening feeling around their necks, leaving them shaken but unharmed. These eerie tales have led some to believe the victims never left. Perhaps they remain, waiting for answers, or warning others of danger that still lingers. The legacy of the Boston Strangler is more than a cold case. It's a haunting reminder that some tragedies leave echoes that time cannot erase. Number 7. The Ghost of Mary Dyer. Long before Boston became a bustling city, it was a place of strict religious order. In the 1600s, Mary Dyer, a Quaker, defied the Puritan leaders who ruled the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Despite warnings, she returned to Boston to preach her beliefs, which were seen as dangerous. On June 1, 1660, she was hanged on Boston Common, making her one of the 4 Quaker martyrs known as the Boston Martyrs. Since her execution, eerie reports have circled the Common. Visitors have described a quiet woman in 17th century dress, wandering silently beneath the trees near the site of the old gallows. Her presence is felt most strongly near twilight, when the sun dips low and the shadows stretch long over the grass. Some say she appears with a sense of calm. Others claim her expression is filled with sadness. Local legend holds that Mary's ghost returns not in vengeance, but as a reminder of what can happen when freedom is taken from people. Some even say she watches over those who speak up against injustice. Her spirit is seen as peaceful, but unmistakably present. Even dogs have been known to bark or cower when nearing the place where she died. Mary Dyer's monument now stands near the Massachusetts State House, just steps from the Common. Whether her ghost truly lingers or not, her story lives on in Boston's oldest park. To this day, her silent figure walking the grass offers one of the most haunting and thought-provoking ghost tales in the city's long and troubled history. Number 8. The Curse of the Bambino. The Curse of the Bambino haunted Boston for nearly a century. In 1919, the Red Sox made a decision that would echo through sports history. They sold Babe Ruth, one of baseball's brightest young stars, to the New York Yankees. At the time, it seemed like a financial move, but what followed was an 86-year championship drought, filled with heartbreak and strange misfortunes. Fans began to believe the team had been cursed for letting the Bambino go. From that moment on, things seemed to unravel. Boston, once a baseball powerhouse, suddenly couldn't catch a break. Year after year, the Red Sox came close, but always fell short. In 1986, with the championship in sight, a ground ball slipped between Bill Buckner's legs, an error that became one of the most painful moments in sports history. To many, it was proof the curse was real. Over time, the curse of the Bambino grew from a superstition into legend. Fans wore garlic to games, reversed hats for luck, and even visited cemeteries to make peace with ghosts of the past. Fenway Park became not just a stadium, but a place of ritual and hope. People believed the curse wasn't just about baseball, it was about a city holding on to hope through decades of near misses. Then in 2004, the impossible happened. The Red Sox staged a historic comeback against the Yankees and went on to win the World Series. The curse had finally been broken, but even now, the legend lingers in Boston sports culture. The story of the Bambino isn't just about baseball. It's a haunting reminder of how deeply a myth can root itself in the heart of a city. Number 9. The Ghost of Dr. Harris at the Athenaeum. In the heart of Boston, the historic Boston Athenaeum holds more than rare books and antique paintings. It also harbors a ghostly figure many believe is Dr. George Parkman, a respected physician whose gruesome murder in 1849 shocked the city. After disappearing one November day, his dismembered remains were discovered hidden in a Harvard professor's laboratory, a crime that gripped the nation and became one of America's first high-profile murder trials. Shortly after his death, strange things began to happen in the Athenaeum. Staff and visitors reported seeing a tall, stern-looking man wandering the upper floors, only to vanish near the reading rooms. Some say he appears dressed in a dark coat, looking lost or distracted, as if still searching for something. Whispers of rustling paper and faint footsteps follow his presence, especially late at night when the library is nearly empty. Over the years, librarians have claimed to see books falling off shelves by themselves or chairs moving ever so slightly, as if someone unseen had just stood up. The ghost is never aggressive, but his solemn energy fills the building. Most believe it's Dr. Parkman, who once donated generously to the library, returning to the place he held dear. Despite modern renovations and growing crowds, the Boston Athenaeum hasn't shaken its ghostly reputation. And while his murderer may have faced justice, many say Dr. Parkman's spirit remains unsettled, forever drifting through the quiet halls of one of Boston's oldest cultural landmarks. Number 10. The Screaming Woman of the Charles Gate. The The Charles Gate Hotel, once a luxury building near Fenway Park, has lived many lives, first as a grand hotel in the 1890s, then a college dorm, and now private residences. But what has never changed is the unease that clings to its walls. For decades, residents have spoken of eerie sounds echoing through the upper floors, most notably the chilling cries of a woman screaming in the night. Her voice is said to rise and fall like waves, desperate and heartbreaking. One of the most unsettling theories traces the haunting back to a tragic death in the 1940s, when the building served as a women's dormitory. According to legend, a student who had suffered a deep heartbreak leapt from a high window, her scream cutting through the quiet street below. Since then, tenants claim her spirit has never left. The sound of sobbing can sometimes be heard behind locked, empty doors. Other reports include sudden cold spots, flickering lights, and doors that slam without warning. A few residents even swear they've seen a pale woman in a flowing nightgown drifting through the halls, always silent, except for the echo of her final scream. Her face, they say, is always turned toward the window she jumped from. Though the Charles Gate has been remodeled many times, its haunted history refuses to fade. Whether it's the tragic energy of a lost soul or something older left behind from its hotel days, the legend of the screaming woman continues to echo through Boston's darkest nights. Number 11. The Boston Lemur. Not every legend in Boston comes from its colonial past. Some are just plain bizarre. In the late 1800s, people began reporting sightings of a strange, monkey-like creature leaping through the trees in Boston Common. It had glowing eyes, a long tail, and moved with an unnatural speed. Some believed it to be a lemur or escaped zoo animal, but no nearby menageries had reported any missing creatures. The mystery only deepened with each new sighting. Newspaper clippings from the time described how pedestrians claimed the creature watched them from the trees. One man swore it shrieked at him from a lamppost before vanishing into the branches. Children told tales of something with sharp claws that darted along rooftops and fence posts. Rumors spread quickly, turning the creature into a small urban terror. By twilight, Boston Common emptied faster than usual, and few dared to look up at the tree line. Some believed it was a spirit beast or a warning of misfortune, perhaps tied to a curse or native legend long forgotten. Others thought it was simply mass hysteria, sparked by fear and shadows. Yet, the sightings spanned weeks, and the people who reported them came from all walks of life: merchants, students, and even police officers. No one could explain the glowing eyes or how something so fast could leave no trace. Today, the Boston Lemur is more mystery than memory, but whispers of it still live on in certain circles. Walk alone through the common at dusk, and some swear the trees still move in strange ways. Number 12. The Pirate's Curse of Nix's Mate Island. In Boston Harbor sits a small island with a dark past, Nix's Mate. Today, it's little more than a sliver of stone marked by a black and white navigation beacon. But in the 1700s, it was used as a public execution site for pirates. One of the most infamous condemned men was Captain William Fly, who met his fate there in 1726. Before he was hanged, he boldly cursed the island, warning that it would sink beneath the waves as punishment for injustice. Since that day, Nix's Mate has steadily eroded, almost vanishing beneath the harbor waters. Sailors came to believe the island was cursed, avoiding it during fog or foul weather. Some spoke of ghostly figures walking its rocky shore, seen only at low tide, where footsteps fade before they can be followed. Others claimed to hear chains dragging across the stones, or the faint sound of cries carried by the wind. In time, legends grew. They said any treasure buried by pirates on the island would vanish or curse those who found it. Strange compass readings and unexplained misfires plagued ships passing nearby. A few sea captains even kept logs noting how instruments would fail when they got too close. To this day, local fishermen avoid anchoring near the island after dusk. Though small and quiet, Nyx's mate still carries an eerie presence. The pirate's curse, whether real or imagined, has never quite faded. It remains a place of silence and shadow, where Boston's bloody maritime past still lingers in the salt air. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.